Well, hello peeps, here I have for you a little PvP tuning this video. We're gonna be discussing also some, I guess a little bit of a problem I have with Death Knights as an old Death Knight player, somebody who used to play Death Knight back in Kata and Wrath of the Lich King, and just how I feel like, I guess Blizzard is kind of failing this plate class that feels like, I guess Clot should be, or Naked class should be the best way to say. So let's first just get over the changes. Frost is getting some buffs, obliterated damage increased in PvP, Frost strike damage increased in PvP, obliterated damage without killing machine proc, increased in PvP. I'm gonna also discuss the fact that you have something so weird as obliterated damage increased when not in killing machine is just so weird. Unholy also some nerfs, faster might, this is actually quite big I think to do consistent damage profile. It's also kind of weird that they're saying like, oh, we want to nerf the burst, but then they're nerfing things that quite attributed to the consistent damage profile of the Death Knight, so I just feel like it's very weird. Faster might specifically. Festering Wood I kind of understand because it is a part of your burst, but faster might just rarely impacts your burst, right? It doesn't impact your the initial part of your burst, it's gonna impact the later stage of your burst, so this feels kind of weird, right, to me. Did go for that. A Monk, obviously, I mean, they did like some kind of like, I guess, nerf to Rising Sun King with that talent being nerfed, but it just didn't matter. They started doing more damage, even though Serenity was also nerfed by 5%, so just they started doing more damage with Rising Sun Kick, so kind of weird. I guess they just overbuffed the Rising Sun Kick in the other changes. And Fury, of course, just Fury having still kind of having a sustained pressure issue. I feel like it's a lot better now after the changes, but I still feel like there's some games that you'll just feel like, man, I just can't do enough here. I just can't do enough to actually impact the game damage-wise, right? You're just like, okay, I have to look for some CC or some stuff because I literally can't do enough damage to make a, you know, make a dent in whoever you're targeting. So the things I wanted to talk about DK is just, first of all, man, it just feels so bad that this class is, as a played class, you're just one of the squishiest, probably one of the squishiest or the squishiest class in PvP. Also, just like what have they done with the design of the Death Knight, just having such weird PvP modifiers, like, these are not even like all the PvP modifiers Unholy has, like Unholy has so many different ones on Clawing Shadows damage modifier buff, Death Coil damage modifier buff. There's so many. I think diseases now have lost. They used to have like a reduction. So like there's so many different like damage modifiers, and I think that just shows it's like a proof of the fact that this class is very poorly designed in its talents and just how it deals damage. Before it was very simple, right? Unholy and Frost both had diseases. You applied those diseases, and then Unholy dealt its damage by Scourge Strike and by its pet and by, you know, extending the diseases, doing some more death and decay stuff, while Frost had its Frost Strike, Howling Blast, you know, so it had a different, you know, abilities, some abilities, but it's, right, the core playstyle was the same. You apply the diseases and then you do, you know, your rotation and stuff. Now it's like very weird, your diseases are part of your damage in Frost, a huge part, but then, you know, on Unholy you have kind of a triple spec where you have Unholy that does damage with its own abilities, Unholy that does damage with diseases, and then you have Unholy doing damage with pets. There's just so many facets of damage, and then how are you expecting this class to do, you know, normal damage or not have a problem balancing its damage when you have so many different like things that are kind of just doing damage at one point, you know, instead of having kind of, let's say, the old school where the diseases then amplified your ability and stuff, but you just have this added festering wound, and it's like something that kind of annoys me as like, I guess, an older Death Knight player. Just I just feel like they were like trying to make the class, I guess, simpler, but it just made it like more complicated, especially in the Unholy like side, specifically talking here. So it's just kind of weird to me. Another thing is the PvP modifiers on like the defensive stuff. At this point, why are we still having like a reduction on healing with Death Strike? why we have these like reductions when obviously the class does not perform defensively the best, like, or even good, right? And then still almost all your, like, let's say constant defenses are just like dampening dependent, like anti-magic shell, death strike, and it's then additionally nerfed. It just feels like really bad. Like anti-magic shell in the soul shuffle environment really feels bad, especially after like 1 minute. Like your second anti-magic shell just feels like it just drops instantly. Like you can immune something, but it will just drop instantaneously. And I mean, it's just how I guess I feel about it. Personally, as an old, Death Knight player, it's just, these things are just very weird to me. And I hopefully, how you say, Blizzard decides to rework the Death Knights as well, just because I think they kind of put them in a weird spot where with Unholy, they always have a balancing damage problem. With Frost, it's either combos people to death instantly, or, it doesn't combo, and it's because they doubled down on the combo playstyle, or honestly, which was kind of a mistake in my opinion. And I guess defensively, I still don't get it why they just can't, as soon as they see, okay, this class dies instantly, this class is constantly getting targeted. They have the internal numbers, they definitely can see that in the soul shuffle environment you're definitely targeting the DK like 90% of the comps, so why would you, not then buff the defenses of this class, especially since I feel like low mobility plate class should probably, be tanky. So I guess that's all I want to say, kind of rant about this as an old DK player, and how I guess I feel about the current DK design, and where Blizzard is kind of failing it with these PvP changes and stuff. So hope you've enjoyed this little video. Like, comment, subscribe, all those things that YouTube wants you to do, and have a nice day.